Hi, good evening, and welcome back to Poem Praise 2. And moving right along in our extraordinary African Americans, I said next is going to be Freedom Riders, and it goes like this. I'm taking a trip on the Greyhound bus line. I'm riding up front into Jackson this time. These were the lyrics, but the opening beat was provided by 13 Freedom Riders, 7 black and 6 white, who went on the road May 4th, 1961 to desegregate Southern bus terminals. Although the Supreme Court had ruled in 1946 and 1960 that segregation was illegal on interstate buses, segregation prevailed in much of the South. At bus stations, African Americans were forced to use separate waiting rooms, restrooms, and ticket counters. Black passengers were allowed to sit only at the back of buses. If all the seats in the back were taken, they had to stand even if there were empty seats in the front. To fight this injustice, the Congress of Racial Equality, CORE, a civil rights group under the direction of James Farmer, began the Freedom Riders. The first group of the Freedom Riders traveled peacefully through Virginia and North Carolina. In South Carolina, 2 members of their party were attacked, but the group continued its journey. In Georgia, things were quiet. In Anniston, Alabama, a mob shot out the tires of one bus, broke a window, and tossed a firebomb inside. The bus went up in flames, and the Freedom Riders barely got out alive. The second bus made it into Birmingham. There, Police Commissioner Eugene Bull Connor, a segregationalist, told city police officers to take 15 minutes to visit their mothers. It was Mother's Day, leaving the Freedom Riders unprotected. The riders were attacked by Ku Klux Klan thugs and beaten viciously. James Peck, a white CORE member, required 56 stitches after his head was bashed in with lead pipes. After the attack at Anniston, CORE members were joined by young people from the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, another civil rights group. Together they rode into Montgomery, Alabama, where Martin Luther King Jr. was to address them at a mass rally at the First Baptist Church. Again, rioters attacked, and when the local police failed to protect the group, U.S. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy sent in 600 U.S. Marshals to restore order. That night, 1,200 African Americans gathered at the church. An angry mob showed up, but marshals stepped in, and the mob backed down. Meanwhile, Governor Patterson, declared martial law and ordered the Alabama National Guard under General Henry Graham to the church. Patterson called Kennedy and told him that General Graham could not guarantee King's safety. "Have the general call me," said Kennedy angrily. "I want him to say it to me. I want to hear a general of the U.S. Army say he can't protect Martin Luther King." Of course, General Graham had said no such thing, and the National Guard finally dispersed the mob and led King and the others to safety. In the months that followed, there were more freedom rides and hundreds of arrests, 350 in Jackson, Mississippi alone. And hundreds were thrown in jail after being charged with disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace, and trespassing. Still, they kept coming. Segregation on buses was finally brought to an end. So there was persistence to bring the segregation on buses to an end. Well, I will like to thank you for tuning in to Poem Praise 2 and tuning in to the information I had on the Freedom Riders. Next coming up for our extraordinary African American is Fannie Lou Hamer. She's a civil rights leader during the time period of 1917 to 1977. And just to leave you with a little bit of her words, it says, "I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." Fannie Lou Hamer. All right. Stay tuned, y'all. Okay? Later, y'all.